Hi, and welcome to this week's edition of BNEWS Weekly. I'm Linda McNamee, in for Phil Gallagher. Joining me on this edition is BNews Director Rich Hosford, reporters Chris Flaherty, Robert Paris, and John Vias, Maddie Shipka with Weather and Community Calendar, Liz Gillespie with Sports, and Marge McDonald with Senior News. The deadline for potential candidates to turn in their paperwork to get on the ballot has passed, and we now know who is officially running in the Burlington town election. Most townwide seats are uncontested this year, though 3 will see challengers. The most notable competition is for the 2 seats on the Board of Selectmen, where incumbents Chris Hartling and Robert Hogan, the chair and vice chair of the board respectively, are being challenged by Nick Priest. Priest ran for the first time last year, and while competitive, came out short against incumbents with a margin of less than 100 votes difference. Another townwide seat with a challenger is for the planning board. Incumbent Carol Perna will face off against challenger Michael Espejo. The third and final townwide seat being contested is for the 2 constable seats up this year. Incumbents William Pepasali and Anthony Saya are being challenged by Dennis Otis. Uncontested races include moderator, assessors, treasurer tax collector, school committee, board of health, housing authority, recreation commission, and library trustees seat. There are challenges in town meeting precincts 1, 2, and 3. Finally, there will be a ballot question as to whether to change the treasurer tax collector from an elected to an appointed seat. The final language of the ballot question is due March 4th, and we will have an update at that time. The Burlington town election will be held on Saturday, April 6th in the Burlington High School Gymnasium. Polls will be open 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Those interested in voting but who have not registered have until Friday, March 15th at 8 p.m. A second suspect in a weekend shooting in Woburn was arrested at his place of employment in Burlington. Woburn Chief Robert Rufo reports that the Woburn Police Department has arrested and charged a second man with his alleged involvement in a shooting on Highland Street over the weekend. Aaron B. Cooper, 29, of Boston, was charged with assault and battery with a dangerous weapon causing serious bodily injury, assault to murder with a firearm, discharging a firearm within 500 feet of a building, illegal possession of ammunition, possession of a firearm without an FID card, possession with intent to distribute a Class D drug, marijuana. Cooper was arrested on Sunday without incident as he walked into work in Burlington. Authorities did not say where in town he worked. According to police, at approximately midnight Saturday morning, February 16th, Woburn police responded to Highland Street for a report of shots fired. Upon arrival, officers located a 43-year-old Woburn man who was suffering from 2 gunshot wounds to his legs. The man was transported to a local hospital with injuries that are not believed to be life-threatening. Through the subsequent investigation, it was determined that Cooper and his brother Asa Cooper, 28, of Dorchester, were allegedly involved in the shooting. The incident remains under investigation. As of Tuesday afternoon, no firearms have been recovered. The victim and suspects are known to each other, and the incident was not random. Burlington High School held its 2019 Poetry Out Loud Finals to choose a representative from the state semifinals in March. Caitlin Shea was named as this year's winner. BNews Director Rich Hosford was there and has this look.
The Burlington High Fogelberg Auditorium was filled with poetry last week during Burlington High's 2019 Poetry Out Loud Finals competition. The school's 8 finalists each had the opportunity to recite 2 memorized poems in front of the judges, their teachers, and their supportive peers. The finalists were the winners of smaller, in-classroom competitions leading up to the finals, and all of them brought their best to the stage.
I think they did an amazing job. They chose some really very challenging poems, a lot of pre-20th century, some metaphysical, some Elizabethan, that's hard language. And they also chose ones with really complex themes. So I think the students did a nice job of picking works that had a lot of weight to them so that they would be able to appeal to an audience. And each of them was fantastic on the stage.
Poetry Out Loud is a national competition meant to inspire students to learn about poems and how to recite them. The goal is to foster a better understanding of poetry, poets, and the meaning of the language, as well as to work on the skills of reading and comprehension high school students learn in their classrooms. There is also the added benefit of allowing students to explore an art form that can speak to them on a personal level.
I think it's important for students to really explore poetry to find something that means something to them. So with the initial assignment, every student in the class has to go through that Poetry Out Loud website to identify a poem that resonates with them in some way, that speaks to them. And then they have to reflect on why they chose that poem. And that's my favorite part of it, that they are just interacting with poetry.
After the recitations, it was time for the judges to announce the winner. This year's BHS Poet Laureate, who will go on to represent the school in the state semifinals, is Caitlin Shea, who after the competition was still coming to grasp with her victory.
It's a little weird. I did not think I was going to win, but it feels pretty cool to have moved on to a championship. It's really cool.
Caitlin recited A Valediction, Forbidding Morning by John Donne, and Traveling Through the Dark by William Stafford, two poems that hit on the same theme, but in very different ways.
The first poem I chose because, I don't know, it was up on the list and I saw that it was like really happy, but it was about a sad topic, and I thought the kind of like juxtaposition between the theme and the actual poem itself was really cool. And the second one I picked mostly because it completely was the opposite of the first poem. Well, the first poem was about death, but it was happy. The second poem was about death, but it was really sad.
I asked her about her process of memorizing the poems for the competition.
I practiced a lot. It was mostly just like having the poems up on my laptop, but having the screen turned away from me. So I'd go through the entire thing, see what I did, and then I would turn it back around, highlight the words that I didn't know, and then just kind of cycle those words in my head a bunch of times and then do it again.
Caitlin's performance won over the judges and faculty members alike.
She did a phenomenal job. I have not had Caitlin in class, but I see her involved in Poetry Out Loud, and she's involved in Idle Hands, and she comes to our listening lunches and things, so she's really very much invested in the arts, which is nice. Her performance blew me away, both of them, so I'm really proud of her and excited to move with her to the state semifinals, which will be happening first weekend in March.
Congratulations to all the finalists and to Caitlin on being crowned this year's Burlington High Poet Laureate. From the BHS Auditorium, I'm BNEWS Director Rich Hosford.
Thank you, Rich, and congratulations, Caitlin. An international discount shoe store is closing its stores in the United States, including its location in Burlington. Payless Shoe Stores announced this week it is entering its second round of bankruptcy, and this time will close all its stores in the United States, Canada, and Puerto Rico. According to CNN Business, Payless filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy on Monday, less than 2 years after it had emerged from a previous bankruptcy. The reasons for the filing included too much debt, an overabundance of stores, and too much corporate overhead. It also recently had issues with a computer system that hurt its back-to-school sales, which caused it to carry too much inventory into the holidays and forced them to cut prices. The closing of the company's 2,500 stores will impact roughly 16,000 employees, who will lose their jobs. CNN also reports that the company owes $1.3 million in severance payments to employees that were laid off before the filings, but is not sure whether it will be able to make the payments. It is also unclear, according to CNN, whether the company will be able to pay severance to employees about to be laid off. Finally, Payless says it will honor gift cards and store credits until March 11th. They are also having a liquidation sale starting now with discounts of up to 20 to 40% off most items. The Burlington Players are back, and this time they bring a noir comedy about a murder plot, marriage, and a lot more in the winter production of Red Herring. BNews reporter Robert Paris went to check out a rehearsal and has this report.
It was a busy day for these local actors as they prepared for their upcoming winter production. This week I went down to the Park Playhouse to get a behind-the-scenes look at the Burlington Players' upcoming performance of Red Herring.
The play is Red Herring, written by Michael Hollinger. It is a play that is set in 1952. It's a comedy, and it's set on the backdrop of the Joe McCarthy Russian hearings, the House Un-Americans Act. And it's a story about a Russian spy. There's a love story. There is a murder plot, all rolled into one. And we have, for this show, we have 6 actors playing 19 different characters.
Chris began his career at the Burlington Players back when he was a teenager.
I started with the Burlington Players with their teen group, which is Windermere Family Theater, back in 93, 94, around that time, and I just sort of grew up through the ranks. When I became 18, which you're eligible to become a Burlington Player with their adult group, I started working with them, and I was auditioning for shows, and eventually I became a director, mid-2000s, somewhere around there. I was got my chance to direct, and I have not stopped, and I've loved it ever since.
I had a chance to speak with one of the lead actresses.
So I play Maggie, and so Maggie is a female detective in a time when they didn't really exist. So in 1952, she's a woman in a man's profession, and she's got a dark secret in her past. So it's a lot of fun to play her. It's kind of like Bacall meets Lucy Ball. So she's a great character, and this is a really fun play. I'm really happy to be part of it.
Finally, every play delivers a message to the audience. This one in particular is comedic humor.
This is a fun play. It's a funny script, but there's a heart to it. I think to do comedy well, there always has to be like a beating heart underneath it. So there are several real love stories that happen during all of the comedy, but it's a good time. There's some very funny bits in it, and so I really hope that people just have a good night of enjoying themselves at the theater.
I just want them to have fun, enjoy it. It doesn't really have a very strong message like some plays do. This one is just come out, see it. If you're interested in seeing a comedy set in sort of a film noir style, this is a good one. This is definitely a good one.
From the Park Playhouse, I'm Robert Paris for BNEWS Weekly.
Thank you, Robert. Middlesex Sheriff Peter J. Katusian has been selected by his colleagues from across the country to serve as Vice President of the Major County Sheriffs of America, or the MCSA. MCSA is a professional law enforcement association comprised of sheriffs of the nation's most populous counties, and parishes, and its members represent over 100 million people across more than 30 states. Katusian says he is honored to be selected for this leadership position and hopes to showcase the innovative work being done by sheriffs from across the country. Katusian, who had been tapped to serve in an acting capacity in mid-December by President Judd, was formally voted to the post on a permanent basis by his colleagues at the MCSA's annual winter conference on Thursday, February 14th. A longtime state legislator and former prosecutor with the Middlesex District Attorney's Office, Katusian has led the Middlesex Sheriff's Office since 2011. During his tenure as sheriff, he has overseen the implementation of several statewide and nationally recognized initiatives, including a specialized treatment unit for incarcerated military veterans, a medication-assisted treatment program, and the launch of a groundbreaking new housing unit for incarcerated young adults. Sheriff Katusian is also currently in his second year of a 2-year term as president of the Massachusetts Sheriff's Association. Parks and Recreation's third annual Winter Carnival was held on Saturday, featuring activities from LL Bean, s'more making, and a hotly contested chili cook-off. BNews reporter Chris Flaherty was there, joined by BCAT video voyagers Desi Marino and Stephen Noonan, and they have this look at the day's winter fun.
Saturday, February 9th, Parks and Recreation held their third annual Winter Carnival. Starting out as a special event for the department's 50th anniversary in 2017, the Winter Carnival was popular enough with Burlington residents to make it a regular part of the Parks and Rec calendar. BCAT video voyagers Desi Marino and Stephen Noonan led the coverage of this year's Winter Carnival.
We're here with Brendan Egan from the Parks and Rec department. How are you doing?
Great. How are you, Des?
Good, thank you. So what does it take to prepare for this event?
Well, it's a lot. The program staff starts working on this, around Thanksgiving time, putting the ideas together, what we're going to do. And they do a great job because they have to prepare for snow and no snow. So unfortunately today we got the no snow for our Winter Carnival, but we did get a lot of wind. It's a great family event where we get Burlington residents and their families out here to enjoy a day out in the park in the winter.
The biggest draw of the Winter Carnival is perhaps the annual chili cook-off. For the second year in a row, Burlington resident David Cullen took home the trophy.
So, how does it feel to win the second year in a row?
It's really great because last year there were just two of us who participated, and it was a fun time. But this year, with all the participants, it was a really great competition, and all the chilies were really wonderful. So I'm just happy that a lot of people liked mine.
So, what's next for you and your chili?
I don't know. Last year I talked about making some changes and decided not to this year. So I think I'll just keep it the same and enter next year and just see where it takes me.
Stay tuned to BCAT for our full coverage of this year's Winter Carnival. On behalf of Desi Marino and Stephen Noonan, this is Chris Flaherty for BNEWS Weekly.
Thank you, gentlemen, and good job surviving the cold and wind. There is a new person in leadership at Burlington's largest medical facility. Leahy Hospital and Medical Center recently announced the appointment of Timothy Leishing, MD, to the position of Chief Medical Officer. Dr. Leishing has served as the chair of the Division of Pulmonary and Critical Care Medicine at LHMC since 2013. Dr. Leishing received his undergraduate degree from Colgate University and his medical degree from the State University of New York at Buffalo. He went on to complete residency training in internal medicine at the Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center in Boston, followed by fellowship training in pulmonary and critical care medicine at Rhode Island Hospital, Brown University. He subsequently participated in an education fellowship at the State University of New York at Stony Brook. Dr. Leishing joined the Division of Pulmonary and Critical Care Medicine at Leahy in January 2006 and became division chair in 2013. In his time at Leahy, Dr. Leishing has served as a member of the Board of Governors, as Medical Staff Association President, on the Leahy Health System Board of Trustees, and on numerous institutional committees and task forces. Most recently, he has co-chaired the LHMC Ambulatory Operations Task Force. Dr. Leishing also serves as Associate Professor of Medicine at Tufts University School of Medicine. David Longworth, CEO of Leahy Hospital and Medical Center, said Dr. Leishing brings a broad experience in medical operations in both ambulatory and hospital settings to this role, and that he is a passionate advocate for high-quality, patient-centered care and for the caregivers at Leahy Hospital. The UCC Congregational held their 10th annual Evening of Jazz and Chocolate, where members of the community enjoyed a variety of homemade chocolate treats with a musical performance by jazz artist Lydia Harrell. BNews reporter John Vias was there and has this report.
On Saturday, February 17th, United Church of Christ Congregational held their 10th annual Evening of Jazz and Chocolate, a fundraiser for the ministries of the church. UCC invited the community to indulge in a buffet of delicious homemade chocolate desserts, but that was just the icing on the cake. Well, the chocolate cake. This year, jazz artist Lydia, the lovely singer Harrell, brought her soulful voice to the UCC stage, with gifted pianist Stephen Higgs on the keys. For the last 10 years, the event has been organized by UCC member Julie Lewis, who said planning is the key to a successful night of tunes and treats.
Well, we have a small committee that does this fundraiser every year, so it's kind of like a well-oiled machine. We all have our tasks that we do ahead of time. Somebody needs to buy paper goods, somebody organizes the sign-up list so that we get enough chocolate in the house for the evening. I communicate with Lydia and make sure that she's set to go. So we kind of all have our tasks, and we all know what to do after all these years.
Lydia Harrell is an accomplished and award-winning jazz performer. She has performed at the Apollo Theater in New York City, winning the 2017 Mid-Atlantic Jazz Festival Voice Competition, and has sung with the Boston Pops, and is a frequent performer at many Boston area restaurants and nightclubs.
When they first started to react, when I was younger, it used to throw me off and mess me up on stage. Like, they like me. Oh no, I can't remember the next line. But now it just feels really good to know that you're able to bring that kind of joy to the audience. I won 2 jazz competitions and was a finalist in another. The most recent was 2017 at the Mid-Atlantic Jazz Festival Voice Competition in Washington, D.C.
Of course, soulful music goes hand in hand with soulful treats, as the friendship between Julie and Lydia, and their 2 passions combined, are a match made in heaven.
You know, over the years, we've built a huge following. We have the same people come year after year and new people every year. I'd say it's just grown every year since the first year.
They have everything. They have cupcakes, brownies, cookies. Dessert is my favorite dessert.
Most of them have come from our wonderful home bakers at our church. We have people who make fabulous brownies. We have chocolate truffles, just from our fabulous bakers at our church.
Here's where to find more info on where Lydia Harrell will be performing next and how viewers can get involved with UCC.
So my website is lovelysinger.com, really easy to remember, and my social media, most everything is Lovely Singer as well. So if you just type Lovely Singer in Facebook or Instagram, it's going to come up with me on there.
We do have a website, and we also we have someone in the office 5 days a week who's always available to answer questions. We're here 10:30 a.m. every Sunday morning, and we welcome families and visitors all the time.
From United Church of Christ Congregational, I'm John Vias, and you're watching BNEWS Weekly.
Stand by me, and darling, stand by me. Whoa.
Looks like a very fun event. Thank you, John. BNews weatherman Peter Brown is out this week, so once again we have Maddie Shipka on double duty covering both the weather report and the community calendar. We go to her now to see the latest forecast and what's happening in Burlington.
Hello, I'm Maddie Shipka, filling in for BNews meteorologist Peter Brown, who's out this week. We start our weather report with the almanac, which says we're going to have average temperatures with a high in the upper 30s. Historically, there's been spring-like temperatures in the past with a high of 57 degrees recorded on this day in 2017. However, the historic low for this day was 3 degrees in 1963. One final note on the almanac is that the days are getting longer and the sunset will be at 5:26 p.m. Now let's look at the 7-day forecast. I do have to say we will be having temperatures ranging from the low 30s to the low 50s for the upcoming week. Friday and Saturday we'll see partly sunny skies with temperatures in the upper 30s and low 40s. Sunday will feel like spring, except it's going to rain with temperatures in the low 50s. Monday we'll be back to partly sunny skies and temperatures in the upper 20s. Tuesday and Wednesday will bring a mix of rain and snow with temperatures in the low 30s. Finally, Thursday is more partly sunny skies with temperatures in the low 30s. That's all for your weekly forecast. I'm Maddie Shipka, saying as Peter Brown always does, get out and enjoy the weather. I'm Maddie Shipka, and this is your Community Calendar. Learn about why you might feel sad or depressed during the winter season. On Tuesday, February 26th, from 7 to 8 p.m., the Burlington Public Library will be having an event called Beat the Winter Blues. Join Dr. David Michelon for a discussion of season-affective disorder and learn how to beat the winter blues. Dr. David Michelon is a director of the Depression Clinical and Research Program at Mass General Hospital. Everyone is welcome and the event is free. For more information, visit burlington.org or call 781-270-1690. Come and enjoy a nice dinner for a good cause. On Wednesday, March 6th, from 6 to 9 p.m., the Burlington Community Scholarship Foundation will be having an event called Parents' Night Out at Temascal Cantina on 2 Wall Street. Everyone is welcome to the event. All proceeds will benefit the adopted class of 2031. The cost is $20 per person. For tickets, visit buytickets.at/BCSF. Take a trip back to the days of retro Burlington. On Thursday, March 7th at 7 p.m., Burlington Historical Society will be celebrating their 55th anniversary with Robert Fahey, creator of the Burlington Retro website, inside the Murray Kelly Room at the Council on Aging. Come and take a trip down Nostalgia Lane with the Burlington Historical Society and Robert Fahey's amazing collection of photos of the town of Burlington from earlier years of the last century up to the present. Everyone is welcome and the event is free. I'm Maddie Shipka, and this has been your Community Calendar.
Thank you, Maddie. The winter season is drawing to a close, but some Red Devil teams are continuing to battle it out. We go now to Liz Gillespie for the latest sports report.
Hey everyone, I'm Liz Gillespie for your weekly sports report. Burlington High School sports are in a little bit of a waiting period as the state tournament pairings are prepared to be announced. Both the boys hockey and boys basketball teams are qualified for the state playoffs, and both will learn on Friday or over the weekend who they will play to start the tournament. In the meantime, the boys hockey team is hosting the annual Cahoon tournament at the Ice Palace. On Tuesday, Burlington suffered a rare Cahoon defeat at the hands of Framingham, one of the state's top squads. We have some highlights from Tuesday night's event. Let's check it out.
The Burlington boys varsity hockey team faced off against the Framingham Flyers in the first round of the Cahoon Cup tournament on Tuesday night at the Burlington Ice Palace. Both teams were scoreless in the first period of the game. During the second period, things started to get interesting. Framingham senior Nate Nichols got the first points up for the Flyers. Burlington was right behind them as senior Connor Quinlan tied the game up late in the second, 1-1. Now, in the third and final period, junior Will Trischita gave Framingham the lead back with just minutes to spare. Burlington would allow an empty net goal made by Mike Trussoni to end the game 3-1. The Red Devils made it through a hard-fought battle, but the war isn't over yet. The Red Devils have a consolation game against the Chelmsford Lions on Thursday night at the Ice Palace.
Speaking of championships, the wrestling, track and field, and gymnastics teams are all either in the midst or have completed their state competitions. Burlington sent 7 wrestlers to the Division II state championship at Beverly High School and walked away with 4 place winners and a 7th place overall finish. Zach Soda won all 4 matches and a state championship, and twin brother Cam Soda finished second in his weight class. Joe Perna won 3 out of 5 matches to finish in 5th place. Ryan McGilvery won 2 matches and finished 8th. The Soda twins and Perna will all compete in the All-State Championship at St. John's Prep on Friday. The track teams had 2 Division IV state champions and 3 state championships in all. Senior Julia Hovas was the state's fastest 1,000-meter runner for the girls, while Rashad Prakash had a legendary day, winning both the mile and the 2-mile. BNEWS Sports is going to have to do a little research to see if a Burlington athlete has won 2 state titles in a long-distance event in the same day. Unbelievable. That's all for now. I'm Liz Gillespie. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, Liz. One more piece of sports news. The relatively new Winter Guard team has been hard at work in the BHS dance studio, perfecting their routines for competition. BNews reporter Robert Paris was there and went to check out one of their practices and has this look.
Burlington High School offers a wide variety of activities and sports throughout the year, including football, basketball, and one of the newest activities, Winter Guard. This week I went down to the BHS Dance Studio to learn a little bit more about this ongoing sport.
Well, Winter Guard is a recreational, it's an after-school program. It originated from like more military-esque style when they had you see them, they carry the rifles and the flags, and from there it became a much more dance-heavy, movement-incorporated thing. And it's been around for about 80-ish, 85-ish years, and but here at Burlington, this is only our 3rd season.
Special equipment and a dance routine are used to put this performance together.
We work on dance technique. We work on teaching basic dance skills to help the students with movement, and then we work with equipment.
Mm-hmm. So the movement really helps when it comes to the equipment because they're combined together. You really can't have one without the other. So it's really a team effort between the 2 of us. She's more of the dance person, I'm more of the equipment person, so it works very well.
As far as competitions, the instructors choose which ones they want to attend based on the team's ability.
This year we chose to compete in 5 total, the first one being an evaluation. So that's where we go and show the judges what we have, and they give us critique and feedback on what we've done to that point, and that's how we kind of gear the rest of our season.
This is the most competitions we've attended so far. 2 years ago when the program first started, I think we only went to like 1, maybe 2. Last year we went to 4, so this year we bumped it up, trying to get them to be a little bit more competitive.
You don't have to be a Winter Guard expert because the instructors will teach you everything there is to know about the sport.
We have students who are doing it for the first time ever this season, so we put kind of like a call out to the student body, to whoever wants to come and join can come. We do a small little audition just to kind of see skills and ability, which you really don't need to have any experience to join because we will teach you all that you need to know. So that's kind of the fun part of it. And we've grown a lot. Last year we had 7 students who competed for a total of 11 kids combined. This year we're up to 19. So we hope to keep growing our program.
The instructors and students are looking forward to the upcoming competition as they continue to practice each week.
Confidence, building community, building empathy towards each other, and learning new skills and technique. Being a part of the school community, really And being, I think, more confidence. The kids will definitely take a lot more confidence away from participating in this activity because they're trying and learning new things all the time.
From Burlington High School, I'm Robert Paris for BNEWS Sports.
Thanks, Robert. One place where there's always a lot happening is the Senior Center. We go now to Council on Aging Director Marge McDonald for the latest senior news.
Hello. The absentee ballots went out in the March spotlight. All you need to vote is to cut it out, fill it out, and mail it to the town clerk's office at 29 Center Street. Hopefully this will make it much easier for you to vote in the town election this spring. And Candidates Afternoon is back and will take place on Monday, March 25th at 1 p.m. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Casual Karaoke, our fancy name for a good old-fashioned sing-along, is on Monday, February 25th at 1 p.m. and takes place every second and fourth Monday. Blood pressures are back now on the last Wednesday of each month, beginning at 9:30 by appointment by calling the COA office at 781-270-1950. And the bereavement group meets this week on Wednesday the 27th at 2 p.m. as well. Officer Lynn Reynolds will have her coffee hour on Monday, March 4th at 9 a.m. The new New Orleans Jazz Band plays on Wednesday, March 6th from 12 to 1:30. Refreshments will be served and lunch is available through the Minuteman Lunch Program. Call the COA office for details on how to sign up for lunch. Following the Jazz Band at 2 p.m., we will have an ice cream social. Come enjoy some ice cream and spend some time with friends, both new and old. We do request you sign up to ensure we have enough chairs and ice cream. We celebrate St. Patrick's Day on Wednesday, March 13th with a boiled dinner and Irish music as Shawsheen Tech will serve lunch sponsored by Shawsheen Tech, Representative Ken Gordon, and Senator Cindy Friedman at 11:45. And at 1 p.m., Roger Ticknell will lead us in a St. Patty's Day sing-along sponsored by the COA. Roger is a charismatic singer and was much enjoyed by those who attended one of his performances last June. We also have the pharmacist here at 1:30 on the 13th. Make an appointment through the office and come see them about your prescriptions. They can tell you if any of your medications conflict with any other ones and talk to you about alternatives or just answer any questions you may have. Coming up later in the month, the movie A Walk in the Woods with Robert Redford, the March Memory Cafe, Medicare Patrol, and Healthcare Fraud, the Wednesday Night Supper with Brightview Concord River, Candidates Afternoon, a presentation on scams and fraud by District Attorney Marion Ryan, and we have a new program, Pizza and a Movie. Join us on the fourth Wednesday of the month for $3. We'll serve pizza and dessert provided by a volunteer, and show a movie. March's Pizza and a Movie will take place on Wednesday, March 27th, and the movie will be Florence Foster Jenkins with Meryl Streep and Hugh Grant. Please sign up in advance so we know how much pizza to order. Also on Tuesdays and Fridays for 10 sessions beginning Tuesday, March 26th from 1:30 to 3 p.m., join us for RAD, a crime prevention and self-defense program for seniors. Call Officer Lynn Reynolds for information or to sign up at 781-505-4958 or email her at lreynolds@bpd.org. We also are introducing a 6-week bereavement education and support group for the newly bereaved, which will provide participants with a safe place to reflect on the loss of their loved one while connecting with others who have a shared understanding. The group called Journeying Through Grief will meet on Wednesdays beginning March 20th at 1 p.m. for 6 weeks. Registration is required, and we ask that you do attend all 6 sessions. Call Anne-Marie Thompson, bereavement specialist for Seasons Hospice and Palliative Care at 866-670-9449. You can also call the COA to get her name and number. We did not have the information in time to get it in the newsletter, so if you know anyone who could benefit from this group, please let them know. And finally, we are Not Your Average Joe's Cause of the Month for March. Each Tuesday in March, dine in or take out and tell your server you are with the Council on Aging, and we will get 15% of the proceeds. We will have flyers available if you are more comfortable handing your server a flyer. That's all for now. I'm Marge McDonald, and I hope to see you at the Senior Center.
Thank you, Marge. Another week, another photo to highlight. This week's photo highlights one of the joys of parenting. It was sent in by Burlington resident Nick Priest and shows him with his 3 children after he returned home from a day at the office. Nick says, "This is what happens when I walk in the door and the kids haven't been outside all day. Like a pack of pygmies, they rush me and take me down at the knees. And I wouldn't change it for the world." Thanks for the photo, Nick. We'd like to see your photos. They could be of something you see around town, the weather outside your own door, or even photos of your family members and pets. Whatever you think is interesting and would like to share. Email your photos to bcat@bcattv.org with the subject line, Photo of the Week. Well, that's it for this week's edition of BNEWS Weekly. On behalf of the crew of BNews, I would like to thank you for tuning in. Have a safe and happy week, and I'll see you around town. Good night.